Hello, I'm Teresha Young, a relationship master coach, and welcome to Real-ationship Talk. Today, I would like to talk about how to avoid dating time wasters or narcissists, because I think it's fair to say that most of us have been there, including myself, and there's so many factors to consider. Firstly, it's a case of looking at some of the attitudes and behaviors that we are actually carrying that could be leading us to attract those situations. Now, just to be clear, this is not a video about narcissism or why the narcissist behaves in the way that they do. That's a whole nother video in itself. This video is about you. It's about empowering yourself. It's about protecting yourself, your energy, and your time. So for this week's question, I have been asked, why do I keep dating time wasters or narcissists? I've been single for 3 years and I keep finding myself dating time wasters or narcissists. I really want to break the pattern. I've either found myself dating people with strong narcissistic traits, or some way down the line, they say that they don't want a future with me for various reasons. I end up feeling used, manipulated, and deceived. I have a corporate career, good interpersonal relationships, a social life, and I feel confident and clued up in many areas of my life. I'm busy, successful, and I am actually making time for dating. So that's a huge investment for me. Do you have any practical tips on how to avoid the time wasters or narcissists? Well, through my studies and working with the universal laws, we are always attracting our experiences. And that can often be a hard pill to swallow, especially if our experiences don't feel right, or if they don't feel good, or if we are attracting time wasters or narcissists, because there's an element of taking some personal responsibility for those situations. Now, you probably have heard that Einstein's definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results. So in order to get off the hamster wheel, something has to change. You have to do something different. And when you start to do something different, you can then have that self-awareness to start spotting the red flags as soon as possible in order to avoid dating time wasters or narcissists. It all starts with doing the foundational work first. So before you get into a dating experience or your next dating experience, really go within yourself and ask yourself some deep questions. Firstly, are you ready to be dating again? Have you healed from your past experience? If not, then find ways to continue to really fully connect deeply with yourself before you move on to the next dating experience. Are you actually energetically bringing in some limiting beliefs into the dating experience? Some of your old paradigms, your relationship patterns. Sit back and reflect upon some of your dating experiences and ask yourself, how do you behave when you are dating? Does your behavior change? You said that you have great interpersonal relationships, a great social life. How do you behave in those situations in comparison to when you are dating? Do you lessen yourself? Do you diminish yourself? Do you come across as being desperate or needy, anxious perhaps? Do you also put up some barriers? There's a lot to ask yourself. So firstly, it does take some deep soul searching. Some people call it shadow work before you actually move on. A good question to ask yourself is, could you benefit from amplifying your feminine energy before you move on? I've actually done a video on how to use your feminine energy to attract a partner, and I would encourage you to check that out, because it could be a case that a little bit of your masculine energy is coming in and it's causing some distance between you and a date. So yes, there is some inner work to do. We have to acknowledge the part that we play when it comes to our experiences. Also, consider your values and your boundaries when you are going into a new dating experience. Because in order to avoid time wasters and narcissists, you really have to know so much about who you are, create a deeper understanding of yourself. And that's what I've helped hundreds of women to do over the years, to find a deeper understanding of themselves so that they can have relationship success. So what are your values? What's important to you? Is it love, kindness, respect? How are you demonstrating those values? Because when you share those values with the dates or with your long-term dream partner, it leads to a happier, fulfilling, loving relationship. So be very aware what your values are, and perhaps you can incorporate them into your deal breakers. So when you are on a date, for example, if one of your values is respect, then see if you can ask your date some questions about respect. Don't obviously say to them maybe, oh, can you define respect? But ask some questions that will show whether they are respectful. If you go out on the date and you're in a restaurant, for example, how are they showing respect to you, to themselves, to the other people in the restaurant? That will give you a good idea about your values and what you stand for. Now, think about your non-negotiables and also your boundaries. What are you willing to tolerate? What are you not willing to put up with and tolerate? Be very clear, because there's no need for you to have to diminish your standards, to change who you are in order to be in a dating situation or in a relationship. So really focus on everything that you can bring to the table and what you would like to bring in that dating experience. Now, what are your expectations? It's okay to have expectations, absolutely fine, but you need to have that clarity. And don't be afraid to communicate that at an early stage into the dating experience. Because sometimes why dating experience can go on for longer than they need to is because you haven't been clear from the get-go as to what our short-term, long-term vision is when it comes to relationships. And if you're scared that if you talk too soon about it, it's going to run that person away, chase them away, then that person isn't the person for you. Because what you're looking for is somebody who is committed and emotionally mature to be able to say to you, yep, we're on the same page, that's great, or we're not on the same page. Then you can say, thank you for the experience, I send you with love, and you can end it there. But it's being very clear to communicate that very early on. Because the very word relationship can be separated into two words. You've got relationship. So the relation part of it means that you need to be sailing in the same ship, heading in the same direction, going to the same destination. Relationship. Get that clarity very, very early on. Also consider how they are showing up for you very soon into the dating experience. Are they being consistent? Are they being inconsistent? Are they there one moment and then gone the next? Sometimes you can find that some people will be there one moment and gone the next, but they come back when they typically need to feel or fulfill one of their own needs. It's not about you. It's totally about them. And quite often you find that with people with strong narcissistic traits, that they will come and try to hoover you back in. Or they will love bomb you with very, very intense communication, very, very intense goals that they want to achieve right now. I have a personal experience of that where I was dating somebody and we were talking about long-term plans, as you do. What's the vision for the plan and for the future? And they messaged me with lots of pictures of wedding dresses. And this was a few weeks into the dating experience. And they said, I never even wanted to marry my previous partner or previous partners, but with you it's something else, it's something different. I was a bit blown away. I thought, wow, this is intense. Now I like that dress, I do, but I'm not really thinking about that just a few weeks into the dating experience. And then I realized that that person had strong narcissistic traits in them. So again, really manage and monitor their behaviors and what they're doing. The relationship, there can be lots of love bombing, it can be so intense, but it's about pacing, not racing. And if at any point you feel that there isn't a mutual exchange of interaction between you, it could be a case that you are dating somebody who could be a time waster or will turn around and be really one-sided with strong narcissistic traits. That isn't something that you want to have in your life long term. Remember, it's important not to settle. You spoke about feeling used, deceived, manipulated. And if at any point you feel that you are lowering or adjusting your standards, that you are settling or even falling for somebody's potential, beware of that, because never fall for somebody's potential. Meet them where they are now. And if they're not where you want them to be, they could reach that potential, but you always have to acknowledge that they may never ever get there. So meet them for where they are right now. Maybe when it comes to the actual techniques that you're using, it might be time to switch things up. So consider how you are and where you are meeting these dates. Is it time to do something different? Is it time to change the way, change the strategy, change the app if you're on a dating app? Maybe not even use a dating app. Think about doing something different so you give a different energy into it. Because sometimes we get conditioned and we go in there with the mindset that, oh, I tried that before. So you just have this self-fulfilling prophecy that it's going to happen again. Try something else, switch up your energy. And that's something to consider. Also, think about the way that you are communicating, because over the years when I've spoken to women that I've coached, some of them have texted somebody for weeks, sometimes months before even meeting them. And that's fine. If you're cool with that, if you want a pen pal, you want to have a pen pal, then keep doing your thing. But if you're looking for a serious, committed relationship where there is progress, move to a telephone call at least very soon, maybe then a video call, and then an in-person meet, as long as you feel comfortable about meeting that person in a safe and neutral environment. Because if they come up with excuses and reasons why they cannot get on a telephone call with you, or they don't want to meet up with you, it does determine and show you the elements of their seriousness and commitment to you and to the relationship. Last but not least, really trust your intuition. Okay, that gut instinct that you feel. What do you feel in your body? What do you feel in your mind? If it feels like you're going on a tough journey right now and it's a roller coaster where you can go from a high straight to a low and there's no in between, then it's likely that this dating situation might not have any longevity in it. Is it bringing you more joy or more pain? Really trust your intuition, because you will spot the red flags and you will be able to put a hard stop on saying, no, I'm not going to have this. I'm not going to put up with this. I deserve more. I deserve somebody that's going to give me full commitment and attention with emotional maturity. Stand true to that, because you absolutely deserve it. So that is it in a nutshell. Really trust your intuition. It does serve you. It's like your internal GPS. And if you're thinking, okay, but is this realistic for me? Change the way that you think, because what you think about, you bring about. So rather than thinking, I keep attracting time wasters or narcissists, change your energy next time you're going into a dating experience and affirm to yourself, I am only attracting wholeheartedly committed, loving dating experiences. And believe that, because your dream partner is there for you. So I've really only touched the surface in this video. If you would like to go deeper, then please do feel free to check out my Safe in Love program, where I can work with you on a one-to-one basis. Firstly, go to my website, www.tereshayoung.com, and then we can set up a conversation, have a quick chat, and I can see if and how I can help you. Alternatively, feel free to DM me. I am available across all social media platforms as Teresha Young. Until next week's video, take great care of yourself and other people.